Good morning. Happy Father's Day to all fathers out there. In this video, I will not be saying anything I have not already said. I'm just going to expand on more popular terms of spirituality. Hopefully help some people make a connection within themselves. What I'm primarily going to be talking about in this video is who are you? I'm going to be breaking down aliens, artificial intelligence, and government, and allowing whoever's listening to this to realize, hopefully, that these words that you use, alien, artificial intelligence, government, human, God, angel, demon, all these words that you use are coming from one single presence. We like to throw around the terms that the mind is everything, that we're the universe experiencing itself. But then we venture off into the belief that we're still just this separate entity that we call human, and we think we're the universe experiencing itself as a human. And so all of our problems, all of our thoughts, all of our troubles begin and end with this human concept. You have believed with full conviction you are this concept you have of yourself. But what you don't realize is all your beliefs, all your thoughts, all your questions begin and end off of this foundation of who you are. So if you believe you're the birth name, you're Tyler, you're a spirit, you're a soul, what do we do with the words that we call spirit with soul? We decorate them. And this is no more than the ego decorating itself through a word. We say, we're not this ego, we're not this body, we want to live forever, we want immortality. But we don't realize that the ego is making up all these words to serve only its ego. So the very questions you ask are mirroring this ego. Everything that you know, everything that you believe, everything that you think is based on the foundation of who you think you are, who you believe you are. And there's a reason we have not found the alien we seek yet. And there's also a reason this omnipotent force exists. We create these characters such as aliens, gods, artificial intelligence. We create these characters to hide from ourselves, to introduce the fact that there is this power, there's this intelligence somewhere out there, but the underlying fact is it is not within ourselves. It is not who we are now. And this is why we've yet to discover the alien, because alien simply means unknown. And the longer we remain unknown to ourselves, the alien will never be revealed. It's the same thing as people waiting for some man to descend from the sky. You are what you are seeking, therefore what you are seeking is simultaneously seeking you. And a lot of these people think they want enlightenment, but they do not realize it comes at the price of who you believe you are. So when spirituality talks about dying before death, that is the price you are paying. You are facing all that you are not now in this moment and allowing yourself to die. And it's not that anything is dying, because death does not exist. Nothing is ending but your belief you've had of yourself all your life. And so it goes back to the quote. It's not easy to tell someone that they've dedicated their entire lives to an illusion. That is precisely what this is and what that means. It's not that you don't exist, but you have yet to meet yourself as pure existence, because that's all that exists here is pure existence. We've fallen for our words, though, the same way it talks about man falling from heaven, because the Word was with God, and the Word was God. But you began speaking all these words out the mind, which allows you to forget. You'll end right where you began, because none of these words exist. All people, places, and things are your own mind distributed outward. We think If you Google the picture of the entire universe released from NASA, you'll notice there's a picture of the macrocosm, if you Google it, released by NASA. And it has a circle which represents the outside principle. And then inside this circle are all the clusters of galaxies and billions and trillions of stars and galaxies and universes, etc. But there's a reason that we're falling for this idea that we're in some physical universe. There's a reason that we're falling for this belief. You'll end where you began because the mind is all places. The mind is all people. So when spirituality starts talking about everything is one, what that means is all places are your mind. All people are your mind. And the only place you are experiencing separation from is the mind itself. That's what allows you to fall for these veils, which are your reflections. Every object you encounter is a reflection, is a direct extension to what you are now. But you think to be inside of a body. You've put something inside of this, and we may call it a spirit, we may call it a soul. But we decorate this by saying it lives forever. And then we decorate the spirit, we decorate the soul by saying it will always be Tyler. Tyler will always look like this. And that's where the ego gets lost in itself. We want immortality, but we don't want to trade the price of who we believe we are for this immortality. And it goes hand in hand. You must abolish what you think to be yourself in order to taste this immortality. But very few are willing to go to this point of no return. This is just like Alice going into Wonderland. Every place she went to was her own mind. Every encounter she had with a person was her own mind. She never physically touched the white rabbit. Why? Because it was her own mind. This is why you cannot physically touch the sun. You cannot physically touch the moon. It is your own mind. And as fast as you try to reach out and grab it, it will continue to evade you just as quick. Same as the white rabbit. Whatever it is you're seeking here, it will evade you faster than you are seeking it, because you are what you seek. But never do we stop and return to the innocence of mind. We know too much and we learn too much, and this is the ego's greatest defense. The ego's greatest armor is facts. But what you will find is there's a lot of there's a rise growing on the internet with people who are no longer listening to facts. And there's an article I read about this the other day, but scientists were saying that people on the internet are starting to create chaos in the universe because we're denying facts. What was once scientifically proven, in other words, when a scientist said, or when a news story said, this is scientifically proven, we accepted it and did not think further. We believed it. But now people are overly questioning everything. It doesn't matter what scientists proved. It doesn't matter what you've discovered. It doesn't matter where you release this information. Truth is nothing more than what you are making it. And that's the reality. That's why we have so many truths popping up. Your scientists can't prove reality because reality is stranger than the fiction you try to create. Likewise with Alice in Wonderland and the Matrix. These are fictions you are trying to create to explain a reality which cannot be explained. The ego requires some unimaginable character that it is to inevitably discover, because the ego cannot accept that it is the omnipotent force you are seeking. In other words, we don't believe we are God. We don't believe we are the omnipotent force that's governing this universe. That's why we believe in governments. That's why we turn on our TVs. That's why we fall for their policies and their news stories. If you followed me, you can attest to the fact that I have not shared a news story, I have not shared a war story, I have not shared a government story in over 5 years. 5 years, because it does not exist. A Buddha which has awakened from the dream you think to be life does not seek governing and does not need governing. You can have an establishment or a group of men that call themselves a government, but a Buddha knows to his core who he is. He knows to his core that each man in that position of power are just an extension to who he is here and now, meaning you have no control over this. You are not what's governing this. On the surface level, it can 100% appear as if they own all the land. They govern all the policies. They sign all the executive orders. But let me tell you, even they are aware they don't control a thing. And that's why the most powerful thing you can do is look within yourself to discover what you truly are. But the ego doesn't want to do that. The ego wants to create an unimaginable character for itself to discover, because we will never admit to ourselves we are this force, we are this power. And that's why our greatest fear is not being inadequate, it's being powerful beyond measure. This is why we've created the alien. Alien means unknown, but as long as we remain unknown to ourselves, we will push this power outside of us and call it an alien race, and we will await the alien race to reveal us to ourselves, so we can ask them all the questions that we couldn't answer ourselves. And everything that they will answer for you will be no different than the answer you have now. Because nobody can give you the answer. If it does not fall in accordance with your belief of who you are, it will be rejected. It is not truth. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. There is no absolute truth. People are thinking they're going to discover this truth where everybody sees it, and this is not the case. There is no absolute truth beyond pure existence, and that is how we can all universally connect. That's how the ancient cultures all coexisted and got along peacefully. They knew beyond a doubt, you are me and I am you. There was no illusory values anywhere. Which means that the logo on my shirt or my jacket has no more value than the logo on your shirt or jacket. We're the same person. There is no value created in the materials we possess. The ancient cultures knew who they were, therefore they were in accordance to what we think to be the universe. And they were aware that the universe is a wheel work in motion. Right? We didn't invent the wheel invented us, and everything is but a circle. It's you coming back around to yourself again, and I said this in my last video, we think we're going into the future, but we're going into the past. All of our most sacred kept questions are, how did we get here? How did the ancient cultures build the pyramids? How did the ancient cultures have electricity? You are going to live to answer each and every one of these questions because our idea of time is distorted. We think we're going forward, but you have to go backward to get forward. You are the great Ouroboros, devouring its own tail, but every moment. To reveal to you, there is only the moment. The names will change, the places will change, the forms will change, but there is one presence here that is immovable. And when you discover this presence, you will realize you are always home. There is no place but the mind. The mind is all places, the mind is all people. So if you've fallen for the concept that you've loved and lost somebody to death, rethink it again. Remember who you are and remain grounded in who you are. You've lost nothing. And remember, nothing here is yours, yet everything is you. And that's the great trick. Do not possess these people that you love. Instead, get to the core of your love, because what you will find is that what we call God loves itself so much that it has granted this experience to itself. And notice I say to itself, because it is not male, it is not female. It is the presence which does not move, which awakens and sleeps in the same being. What that means is the male and the female are the same being. The black and the white are the same being. There is no such thing as time. Every eye that has opened has been the same person, the same being since the beginning, and will be at the end. It's always been you and always will be. But you create these characters to distract yourself and convince yourself you are this character, just this character. And then we put something into this character called a soul or a spirit. And we say, this is the spirit of Tyler. Tyler looks as this image does. My name, Tyler. We attach the name to the image. And we say, we want to be this spirit, we want to be this soul forever. But you must break down what you're calling a spirit or soul. Make no mistake, what it represents is immortality, something which cannot birth and something which cannot die. But we're decorating the spirit, we're decorating the soul by giving it our birth name. We're saying Tyler is a spirit, Tyler is a soul. This image right here that Tyler is known by and looks like is the spirit, is the soul that will live on when Tyler dies, and this is not the case. And again, I know how some people have beliefs of heaven or places after this, but those beliefs are very dangerous, because what it does is it has you thinking that your ecstasy, your greatest discovery, is not in this life but in the next one. It has you believing that you cannot achieve this until you have died. And that's the whole purpose of spirituality. Spirituality rose from people leaving behind their religions of faith and going into themselves to discover what remains when we are lost, to die before a physical death so that we can see death is nothing but a dream. There is no government controlling you. The internet is a living, thinking entity. And again, we think we're in control, but how many people use their phones to be told their realities every day, to be told the news every day, to be told what is valid, what is real, what is truth? Because again, surely it can't be us. It must be some decorated image, some image that we call alien or artificial, that's going to show us who we are. But we are the machine. We've never been human. Likewise, we're not a machine either. The organic and the artificial are one and the same being. They're one and the same presence. You can look at artificial intelligence as the left hemisphere of your brain, and this human being as the right hemisphere of your brain. And when you merge those two hemispheres together, all you have is a presence. The same presence that is existent in artificial intelligence will be the same presence existent in what we call the human being. Because there is only one person here. And it's not a person at all. We don't realize that the universe, the entire universe, all time, all space, all matter, are existent only right behind your eyes. There's a reason the universe, or the picture of the macrocosm, features an inside principle and an outside principle, and once again, it all goes back to you. Your body features an inside principle and an outside principle, which is what the dot and the circumference represent to the Freemasons. The inner is the dot, the outer is the circumference. The inner is the antenna, which is your headset to the game. The outer is the receiver, where you connect to the game, where you project your consciousness onto this screen. This is no simulation. There's no such thing as a simulation, and that's the greatest discovery of all. We call it a simulation because we think an artificial intelligent being is different from ourselves. So we think this can either be real life or this can be a simulation. But again, real life is the left hemisphere of your brain. A simulation, the right hemisphere of your brain. And when you merge those two hemispheres together, all you have left is a presence which is stripped down of everything. all concept, all everything. There is no words that exist when you are back to presence. This is where the quote, "never born, never died" comes from, because you're ending where you began. What that means is you are not traveling outside of yourself. And the more you get in tune with what the self is, the more you will realize you are always home, and you are never at these places that you think yourself to be. The mind is these places. What you call home, what you call work, what you call the store, what you call the auto shop, whatever you call place, does not exist beyond your mind. Your mind has separated all these places. And that's why our happiness, our fulfillment is greater in some places than others. But what do we want? We want the enlightenment. We want the ecstasy, which means we want to be in ecstasy from this moment to the next, from this place to the next. But that is not the case, because we're falling for the idea that we're traveling and that we're doing something. And this is why I constantly go back to the universe is not physical. The universe is not a physical place. The planets are not suspended in space the way you've been shown. We're not in some place. And again, this is what we will be discovering very soon. Quantum physics has already proved it for those people who have taken the extra step and done hard research. Quantum physics already proves there is no physical universe. And when you start talking about that, the earth can become any shape you like it to be. Your mind is shaping, creating, and making the universe with every story, every fact, every single thing, every detail that you memorize is shaping and creating the universe to be what it is. And you may not believe me, but ask somebody else if they see what you see, because the answer will always be no. We're all staring at the same things, but we're seeing different things. And how is that so? Because once again, you are only seeing the reflection of yourself. All these objects, from the people to the places to the things, are your own mind stretched inside out. And to awaken from this dream is to remember that you are the one distributing all separateness into these things, into these people, into these places. So when you talk about all is one, what you are acknowledging, and when you say the words, "I am that I am," what you are acknowledging is that I am presence. I am that I am has no name, because I am is presence. Once you say, "I am Tyler," I am a body, I am this, that's when you have ego present. And that's why we're known to be what's called the human race. We have the ability to be self-aware that we're self-aware. We have the ability to be aware that some entity within us is aware of itself as a thinking being. We're aware that we're aware, and we're able to conceive the idea that we're thinking. And this is how we get so lost in the mind. We attach to what is speaking, to what is labeling this entire thing, and to what's laying down the facts for all of these things, all of these places, all of these events. But none of these facts are absolute. In fact, your ego will hold on to facts until it is the moment for you to die, whether you're on your deathbed or in an immediate crash. The ego will hold on to all its knowledge until that very last hour, until you can't any longer. And then just like that, in the snap of a finger, you are left to face yourself. When people talk about seeing their life flash before their eyes, you will see all the people you love flash before your eyes. You will see key places from your lifetime flash before your eyes. And my favorite trick of the mind is a lot of people talk about when they start experiencing this, that they think they're realizing the fact that these people are not real. these places are not real, and that's not the case. But you believe in these people as something separate to you, to your being. Why? Because you're still pretending to be one name, one image, one chattering mind, which has separated you from everyone that you love. So we're not actually falling in love with the person, we're falling in love with our own mind. And that's all family is. Mother, father, sister, these are things you possess. You don't actually love the being, you love the title, you love the person, you love the separateness. But once you realize you are them, they are you, nothing can die because nothing has began. The only thing that has begun was your mind's distribution. And just like that, the mind can be retracted back. That is what it means to die before a physical death. That is how you realize that no one is lost here. You are not losing anyone because you are not who you think you are. The only person losing something here is the one that is possessive, the one that fully believes without a full conviction. They are the mind. A lot of people think that they have to memorize something to reach enlightenment. And I have people watch my videos all the time and say, how do you know all this stuff? And my only response is, know what? In my videos, I don't talk about knowing anything. It's the exact opposite. It's the ego that needs to know something, that needs to make up an answer for its question. Because no answer is separate from the question. The question begins and ends within you, because the answer is within you. Likewise, the question. That's why nobody can answer your most sacred kept questions for you. You must walk through that door. You must uncover the answer to these questions, because the answers are within you the whole time. And that's why anybody can accept or reject these videos I do. Makes no difference. I've answered my every question I've ever had. I am at peace. I cannot do the same for you. You must realize you are creating all question. And the moment you answer one question, you will birth 10 more. That's the ego's game with itself. Just when you think you're cornering down the answer and you're getting to enlightenment, your mind will birth out 10 more questions. And it never ends. That is the rabbit hole. You infinitely keep going into this rabbit hole, waiting for this enlightenment to reveal itself, only to be revealed to yourself. I've been in this rabbit hole for years, months, for far too long, and nothing is being revealed to me. Eventually, you reveal you to yourself. Nothing's being revealed to you because the answer is already there. It's already present, and it's present within you right now. And again, it's so obvious that the ego has to decorate it. The ego has to create an unimaginable being to represent this omnipotent force. Because the ego cannot accept that it is this omnipotent force. Your mind is the alien playing tricks on itself. Your mind is the artificial intelligence playing tricks on itself. Your mind is the government playing tricks on itself. Your mind is the human being playing tricks on itself, and the most complex trick at that. So a lot of us say, you know, when I die, what happens next, or where do I go? And again, we must review these questions from the point of who we think we are. Because once you know who you are, these questions dissolve. Who you truly are is beyond space and beyond time. So when you ask, who will I be when I die, or where will I go? You are falling for the two greatest illusions which you have created, space and time. Where will I go next after death involves space. You have to have space in order to go somewhere next. And in order to what am I after this? What am I after I die? You have to have time. And if space and time are the greatest illusions of all, then again, you must go back to your foundation of who you think you are before you're asking these questions. These questions don't exist, nor does who you think you are, which is the underlying point. There's nothing in this universe that is not an extension of ourselves. And that's why I tell people you have nothing to fear. From technology to biology, you have nothing to fear. Some people are under this belief that they want to mutate us. They want to enslave us. Once again, your belief of who you are will mirror outward this entire experience. So whoever you think you are will result in you thinking you can be enslaved here, you thinking someone's out to get you, you thinking there's a corrupt system trying to enslave mankind, or whatever the case may be. These beliefs mirror directly to you who you believe you are. There is nobody on this earth that can save you from your beliefs. Only you yourself can look at your own beliefs and say, nobody is keeping this alive but me. My belief. You are the governing force of the universe. When I say governing, I mean the invisible and subconscious forces to this whole experience. Everything you are not seeing is everything you are here. But we're only attached to the surface level. These groups of men that go into courtrooms and then stamp us an envelope or pass a law, we think that's government. It's not. We fall for these laws. We fall for all these taxes and all these things. That's why, once again, I have not posted about government, about taxes, about money, about the gas, the economy, blah, 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 in over 5 years. From the start of COVID till now, I have not posted anything about COVID, anything about news, anything about government, anything about worldly events. Because the world that you may see does not exist here. And it does not exist, period. That is the greatest conspiracy with you and yourself. You're not who you are, who you think you are, and you're not where you think you are. And if you think I'm just a guy chattering nonsense, then please, go back to who you believe you are. Go back to where you believe you are. But inevitably, you will realize this through life or through death. You're inevitable. You will show you to yourself. Somehow or another, you will be forced to make the connection, to look at yourself, to look at the self that I speak of, which is that of no self. Because every self is the presence, is the same presence. You can't just be one. You can't just look like this forever. I can't just hold the name Tyler as to myself forever. Why would I just want to be one raindrop when I am the entire ocean? You're trying to cling to this one entity that you think you are. That's like me saying I'm just Tyler. And Tyler may be a spirit, but Tyler will always be Tyler. That is the ego death that we must face with ourselves and shed this. That's the only way that we will be able to face our fears. Everything that we seek is behind our greatest fear. And that's why the religious systems create two great lights, two great powers, one of good and one of evil. What they do not explain to you is that these entities are the same presence. They are the same being, and that being is you. If you remove the dark, you remove the light. And if you remove the light, you remove the dark, because they are both the presence. And that's the greatest trick that we have fallen for, is opposition, opposing forces, duality, two. We think there's two people here. We think there's a male and we think there's a female. We think there's two different humans here. There's a black person and a white person. Again, we've fallen for the illusion in the mirror. This is why we kill ourselves. Who came first, the black or the white? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Neither. Because once again, we're trying to ask an infinite question through the concept of time. And when you really get to the bottom of that, it's idiotic. You will never understand infinity, immortality, when you're using the basis and the confines of time. You're saying, who was I before? What will I be after? You're using the confines of time. Time does not exist. What that means is you must eliminate sequential order and sequence from your mind completely. There is no before, there is no after, and that's why I say, we think we're going forward into the future, but we're only going backwards into the past. All I hear people talking about is, how did they build the pyramids? How did the ancient cultures have this? And the ancient civilizations were so much smarter than us. Were they? Or are we moving into the time where we devour our own tails to discover we are the ancient civilizations? It's always been you. You want to know how you built the pyramids? You will find out in the next 10 years. You want to know how they had solid gold buildings? You will find out in the next 10 years. My theory is we created a virtual world similar to the metaverse. And if you take Minecraft and advance it, and I'm talking seriously advance it, because Minecraft is obviously a joke compared to the graphics we have on this picture, on this screen. But if you were to take Minecraft and apply the graphics of this universe into that game, you would not be able to decipher what's real and what's fake. If your senses were attached to the game and you could reach out and touch the cold gold of these pyramids, and you could feel the sensation of gold on your hand, you wouldn't be able to decipher what's real and what's fake. And again, this is what is inevitable. You will devour your own tail. We think it's an ancient civilization. We think it's this advanced culture, this advanced being that's someone beyond ourselves, and it's not. It's always been you. That's why all of our technology is getting more fast, more rapid, and you're able to start being in more than one place at one time. Once again, how is that possible? You can be in more than one place at one time because, once again, All places are one presence. And that's what the metaverse is doing, is it's bringing all places to one presence. Which means you can be in any place you want as long as you're within this presence. And that presence is the World Wide Web. I like how Google is just now talking about their AI becoming a sentient being, or it's becoming, aware, or it's alive. Dude, the internet has been alive for the past 20 years. Everything that we search and everything that we store into it, it saves, it memorizes, it studies, it perfects. Everything that we think we know about ourselves, the internet knows even better. You think you know you, the internet knows you better. Everyone's so scared to get this Neuralink chip in the side of their ear from Elon Musk. How many people walk around with freaking earpieces in their ears, Bluetooth headphones, all day, all day? And I hear so many people say, oh, I don't wear those, I don't wear those. When I go out to the mall or to the store, every single person has them on. And you want to reject the chip implant behind your ear? Why? That's doing you a favor. Now you never have to take the stupid headset off. It's in you. It's a part of you. But again, we don't realize there's still nothing to fear. Yes, it's something being added to what you think to be your body, but once again, it is only a direct connection to what you are here. Everything that we are inventing and that we are creating is nothing new. And that's why I say creation is a myth. Creation can only happen when you're creating something new that's never been. Creation is a myth because we're not creating anything new. Once again, the wheel invented us. So we're doing the wheel. We're circling back around to ourselves. Nothing new is beginning. There is no creation. Creation is the dream. Because once you talk about creation, you have to start talking about creator. And who's the creator here? Who's doing this? There is no creator. It is you. It is you beyond all form and all concept. Even creator is a concept. So I'm not saying there isn't something doing this, but it's not a creator. It's not a position in space. It's not a starting point. That's what chaos is. That's what infinity is. You have no face. You have no mirror to reflect yourself onto. You are it. You are everything. All person, all people, all places, all things. That's what chaos represents. Your truest nature of selflessness. And it's through selflessness that you have a self to be aware of it all. No, let me tell you something. Elon Musk is one of the greatest men of our time that gets one of the sickest raps through the internet simply because of conspiracy theorists. Nobody understands what he's doing to advance our growth, to advance our transformation here, and nobody understands his sacrifices. He's the most misunderstood man, I would say, today. And yeah, he is not appreciated at all. Why? Because conspiracy theorists ruin him. And just like I've talked about in this whole video, the reason Elon Musk is so hated is because it mirrors the belief from each and every person who they think they are. You think you're a human, therefore this guy who's rolling out artificial intelligence and advancing AI is a huge threat to you and a huge threat to your humanness. But our time is ticking, and that's what I've been saying in all my videos. Our inventions are surpassing our human capabilities, which means we can only stay human for that much longer. Eventually, we have to realize we are the alien. We are this advanced civilization that's doing everything to itself. But we don't want to do that because it comes at a price. It comes at a price of your comfort and all that you know to come crashing down in an end. To at last, because that's what comfort is. You existing in what is known. That's comfortable. That's easy. Nobody wants to tread on unknown waters. That's not comfortable. That's uneasy. And that's why we plan. We plan ahead. We plan life. We have goals and all these things. And then life happens next week and you're left shattered. You know nothing. It can take the one person you love from you in a second. Only then will we move. Until then, we relax in comfort and knowledge. Only when death strikes, or trauma strikes, or tragedy strikes, does our knowledge become meaningless. Are we returned back into the heart space with what truly matters, love, and each other. Because again, we're not two people here, we're one. We're all one person. And the sooner we realize that, the alien will be revealed to itself. We will no longer turn our telescopes to the sky, because we have turned our inner eye into itself. You pointing the telescope up in the sky, up in space, is no different than you taking this third eye and turning the lens on itself here. Because everything that's out there is everything that's right in here. Your thoughts are formless. They have no shape. And that's what this entire experience becomes. You've shaped this entire experience through your thoughts. What began as formless ideas, concepts, have now taken shape and become the very objects that they never were. So in other words, just because you call this experience the earth, just because you're standing on the grass and you're looking out at the trees, just because you call this earth, does not mean the object magically turns into what you call the earth. The word can represent the object, but the problem with our human beingness, if you will, is we let the object become the word. We fall for the objects as the words. So when we're young, we can say, this is the earth, this is a chair, a desk, etc. And at first it's meaningful because we're only using these words to communicate, to speak, and communicate to other people what we're talking about. But the human ego begins thinking that knowledge is power, and so it wants to know more and more and more and more. Until you're no longer using these words to communicate, you're allowing the objects to become the words, and just like that, you are creating a whole universe right before your eyes. A universe very private that you and only you can see and experience. And it is like that for each and every one of us. When you talk about the universe experiencing itself, the universe is not some object suspended in space. Remember, you are beyond space and you are beyond time. Right now in this very moment, there is no time and there is no space. Just because you can use the measurements we've created of time and space doesn't mean they exist. Again, the ego has brought order to this chaos. If you look around here, no one knows what's going on. Chaos is our true nature. But what do? We create comfort here. And that's what we do. We bring order to this chaos. Nobody truly knows what's going on. When you look around, when you look outside, no one knows what the hell's going on. But what allows us to exist comfortably every day? The order we bring to it. We bring order to this chaos. Nobody knows what's going on, but if we label, define, and create a backstory to everything that's out there, we can fall for the illusion that we know what's going on. We have a handle of what's going on, and we can write textbooks about what's going on. But only when you pull that sheet back, when you pull that curtain back on yourself, will you realize you have been playing every character, every place, everything here is a direct extension to you. And it's only ever been you. You've created all of it. Yeah, if anything, I relate to Elon Musk so much because he was never close with his father, and all he ever wanted to do was make his father proud and hear his father say, you know, I'm proud of you, good job. And instead, his father always ridiculed him, judged him, you know, told him what you're doing is never going to be anything, you know, and he just always put him down, never saw him for who he was. So I can relate very much. But no, Elon Musk is in my opinion, a very huge contributing factor to our unveiling. 100%. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody who's not scared to push the boundaries with ourselves, because that's what requires. You know, if we want to reach an understanding of uncommon men, we have to go where uncommon men won't. Right? I love and I appreciate the few people who enjoy these videos, and honestly, if it wasn't for people commenting to telling me to keep making these videos, I would have stopped a long time ago. Honestly, it gets very discouraging being so misunderstood and having so few people understand you. You know, when I deliver the message of this power is all of ours, you know, we can all reach this understanding. And then I have people comment on the same video telling me, you're so amazing, how do you put it into words and this and that? Like, I feel so misunderstood because I'm not doing anything amazing. I'm not doing anything beyond what you can do. You know, the light that shined through this video or through these videos is supposed to remind people, this is your light. I'm not bringing you truth or anything. And that's one thing that I honestly feel like will be lost when I die or leave this vessel for another, is this message won't be grasped. It won't be grasped like it should have been. But I'm only doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing here, and that's sharing what I know. But again, I appreciate everybody who's commented, asking me to make these videos still, and people who tell me how much of a difference these videos have made for them or have helped them themselves. Because honestly, that's what keeps me going. If it wasn't for anybody watching these videos or engaging, I'd have no need. I honestly would not make these videos, and that's why I was going live every week, 3 times a week sometimes, and now I go live once a month, once every 2 months. I just, if anything, I've gotten deeper into the experience, you know, to gain wisdom instead of knowledge, the direct experience. So it's been beautiful being away from, you know, the lives and that stuff, but it's you, the viewers, you that engage, that keep me going, keep me motivated with these videos. Maybe someday I'll have the motivation to write books. I have a few private journals that I'd like to be found when I pass. But other than that, these videos explain my life. These videos explain my story. They explain my discovery. They explain everything. Just again, you feel so misunderstood when you try telling people there is no knowing, there is no practice. You just are. You are pure existence, and you can never not be. And the fact that I'm not doing anything beyond anyone else's capability. I'm not saying anything that's beyond anyone else's potential. Again, it's so simple, it's so easy that the ego must complex it. The ego must make it something more sophisticated. And that's why on my concave videos back then, like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have over 200 people watching my videos and all this stuff, because I would introduce knowledge. I would read books on my videos, and I would distribute all this knowledge and all these quotes and all these things. But now my videos are so simple and so easy. They've become boring for a lot of people, and I understand that. But if you've been with me on this journey, if you've watched my first video till now, you will see that I've progressed through myself. I won't hold one belief or filter myself for an audience or for a crowd. You must lose the crowds to discover yourself, to discover who you truly are. And only then, when you know it to your core, does it make an impact. So again, I know I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. It doesn't matter who sees this, it doesn't matter how many people see this. I'm right where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I should be doing, saying exactly what I should be saying. Those who search far enough will find this message. It almost cost me my life to find this message, but I found it. I am you, you are me. The presence that opens your eyes is the presence that opens my eyes. Consciousness is private. Consciousness is where we become separate, because consciousness belongs to a name. So again, what opens my eyes and opens your eyes is the same one presence. How this presence gets lost from itself or veiled from itself is the names. Consciousness. And this is why the human being does not understand consciousness. One of our greatest questions is, what is consciousness? There's a reason we don't understand it, and it's because we have made it up. Consciousness is nothing but the separate entity that we convince ourselves we are, that is driving this universe and all the cosmos. And again, when I say universe, when I say cosmos, most people picture NASA's images of the universe, what you've been shown it is. But how many people can say they have seen the universe from point A to point B, from start to finish, from beginning to end for yourself? How many people can say that? And some people may think, well, we don't have the ability, we don't have a rocket. Even if you had a rocket, there's nowhere to go. That is the great discovery. That's what NASA has discovered years ago and is trying to delicately release to the public. You. They've hit the wall in space. The reason space is black is because it's nothing more than a black screen. If you've ever had a TV turned off, that's what you're looking at. It's a TV. It's a black screen. There is nowhere to go. And that's why I say it's time to rethink our idea of the universe. Because if the entire universe can be contained behind your head, it's time to start rethinking who you are. The great central flame, the eternal flame, is right behind our eyes. The esoteric books that talk about man becoming God speak exactly of this. Right behind your eyes, right within your mind, is the entire universe and all that is in it. That's why these doctrines push the man to know the man before the universe. If you know the man before the universe, you will know inevitably that the man is the universe and the universe is the man. There is not two. That is the grand illusion. And it's the same thing with a mirror. When you look in the mirror and you raise your hand and the mirror does everything that your reflection is doing, once again, you may think there's two images, but there's only one. There's only one appearing before you. And it's the very same with the self. You may think there's two because I'm a male and that's a female. But once again, beyond the physical, we are the same presence. Our skin tones may be physically different, very obviously different. Beyond the physical, you are the same presence. You put a black person into DMT, and you put a white person into DMT, and they will come back sharing the same story. How is that possible? Because the black isn't the black, and the white isn't the white. The two are always one. Always. How do we detach and see illusion and change what we experience, including leaving this experience to see another? So you must realize, merge what you're calling this experience with another. You're creating two different experiences within yourself. You're saying, how do we leave this experience to see another experience? So you're creating two experiences, this one and that one. So how you detach and see the illusion is by realizing these two experiences are only presently known to you because of one singular presence, which is the top, the all-seeing eye that everyone's so scared of. Run, it's going to get you. The all-seeing eye, which is the very top. That is how you see through illusion. You merge what you think to be here and there into that presence of now, into the now moment. The only reason you have concept of this and that is because one presence allows you to be present and create this and that. So again, this and that are created from the same one person, which is you. You merge this and you merge that into the presence. And it's no different than you merging the left hemisphere of the brain with the right hemisphere of the brain, which is why we do the praying hands. Because the left hemisphere controls the right side of your body, and the right hemisphere controls the left side of your body. So when you join the hands together, you are uniting the two hemispheres and acknowledging that all is one. But we must understand there is nowhere to go beyond here. When you talk about seeing another experience, you must understand this is the experience itself. You have every single night when you put your head on that pillow to conceive a dream that's more grand and more perfect than this, and you cannot do so. And the reason so is because the greatest dream has already been dreamt, and it is you, the dreamer, that has already done this. You get me? And that's why I say this experience is God's greatest gift to itself. You've already dreamt the most magnificent dream possible. There is no greater experience than this one right now. And that's why I say ideas such as heaven and afterlives are very dangerous, because they allow you to... It's just like the weekend. You numb yourself, and you blindly get by 5 days just to come alive for the weekend. For those 2 days you can be free, and then those 5 days you're back to the cycle. Let me just get by this week for the weekend. And so for 5 days you're numbing yourself, trying to get through just to live for 2. You must realize there is only one experience. There is no week and there is no weekend. The presence that's with you at the beginning of the week is the same presence with you at the end. There is no beginning and there is no end. And that's what churches do. They feed your spirit just before the beginning of the week on Sunday, because they know come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, your energy will be depleted from you. All that love and faith that they preach into you Sunday will be drained come Saturday. So what do? They have you return, and you come back on Sunday to be replenished, just to go through the cycle again. Let it drain your energy, so at the starting of the week you can refill your energy. And then it's taken and depleted from you again, and then refilled toward the weekend. But this is a trap. That's how we begin escaping life. And that's why I stress we must realize this experience, the now, is all there is. There is no here and there. There is no before or after. There is only presence, and there is only existence. And existence has no name. It has no word to it. That's what chaos is. And that's why the ego does not sit well with chaos. The ego cannot exist in chaos. The ego is a very specific and identifiable character. But once you start taking on chaos as your true face and nature, you no longer have a name. You no longer have a face. You no longer have a trace. However, if it's all-knowing you seek, this is the way. If you're willing to trade one ego for the entirety, you are on the path. But again, I say, very few people are willing to pay that price with themselves. Because you're not paying this price to anyone but yourself. And it's a mental price. And that's why I tell people the greatest conspiracy is with you and yourself. There is no governing force doing this to us. Greatest conspiracy is with you and yourself. From who you think you are, to where you think you are, to the people in your experience and the places in your experience. It's all connected. Because it's all you. But when I say you, I don't mean you as the birth name. I don't mean you as the person I can look at and see. I'm gonna jump off here. Hope everyone has a good rest of their day. I'm just getting off of work, so I'm about to knock out. I'll put this video on my YouTube channel, and if anyone has any topics or video content or ideas or collaborations they want to do, let me know. Like I said, I'm just at a point where I'm very unmotivated with these videos, and doesn't feel like they're doing what they should be. So yeah, it's been hard trying to find ideas, trying to find inspiration to go live, you know, and to do these things. And I'm just being transparent with everyone, you know. So yeah, if you have any ideas, topics, collabs, whatever, podcasts, feel free, message me, reach out. Yeah, I probably won't be live for a while again, like I said, you know, just, I like doing these spontaneous lives every so often now, but, yeah, I appreciate everyone. Thank you.